Hi everyone. Back in the beginning of the year, I decided to put a pre-order in on a Rivian R1T. Little did I know at that time that pre-order would take me through a journey. That journey I'd like to share with you today. Some of it great and some of it not so great. Regardless, it has led me up to this point where I am less than a month away or so to getting my delivery of my R1T. So I'd like you to come along and join me. And maybe this little video can help some of you kind of get rid of your anxiety on when you're going to get your vehicle. So come along with me on the Electric Avenue. Okay, as you see here on the email back in January 9th, I made my Rivian order, and it basically says, welcome to the adventure. It says, thank you for signing for the updates. My Rivian adventure starts now. So that was back on January 9th. All right, as we move forward, later on, 3 months later, or less than 3 months later, actually, March the 1st. The infamous price increase, which caused so many people to cancel their order, including me. Rivian went through this debacle, which caused obviously a big stir amongst the Rivian community. It says the price updated. It actually increased my price by about $18,000. So I went from the 70s to the mid 70s to the low 90s. Okay. And ultimately I canceled my order. And then the RJ Scarins came back with the apology letter. The apology email. Earlier this week, we announced an increase that broke the trust. And it did break the trust. But they quickly rebounded. And all the skeptics were saying pretty much this is the end of Rivian. Well, it wasn't the end. And eventually, as the email says, I reinstated my order. Yes, welcome back Carter email. I'm glad you reconsidered. So am I. So I did reconsider. Eventually, I would say here in July, I was invited to the Rivian First Mile event. Right? And that event solidified my decision to stay with Rivian. By this time, I had already driven the Ford F-150. And speaking of that, I did have an order for an F-150 Cybertruck, which I continue to have, which I will be canceling. Just haven't got around to it. The Cybertruck, Ford F-150, the Silverado EV, all of which I wasn't really sold on. But when I drove the F-150, probably a week and a half before this drive event, and I went to drive the Rivian at the Atlanta Service Center, which you can see the address right here. It's pretty much the only one here in the Southeast. It solidified my commitment to staying with Rivian. And then here are two great emails. This one back on August 18th, talking about the Ocean Coast. So I originally wanted the Ocean Coast interior, but it wasn't available until at this point. And that's when I changed my configuration to this Ocean Coast interior, right? And then in October, the powered tonneau cover cancellation. So it's well known that Rivian had been having serious issues with the powered tonneau cover. And this is when I decided, after reaching out to some of the Rivian community in the forums and watching some YouTube videos, to go with the manual tonneau cover, which to this day, and this is the last day of 2022, I still have not seen anyone on YouTube with the manual tonneau cover. Not yet. But the manual tonneau cover, I'm fine with. Now, if I decide to go with the power tonneau cover, I can still do that. So it's an $800 option versus an $1,800 option. And then I got a delivery window back in October. October 28th, I got an email saying, hey, my delivery window has been set, right? And at that time, it doesn't say it here, which I hit this little tab here, and it did take me to my delivery window in my account, which said April of 2023 to June 2023. Which I was excited about. I mean, I was through the roof, over the moon with it. All right. Then from that day on, here we are 2 months later, almost to the day, I got this email helping you through the Rivian process. Hey, Archie, now that you have been invited into the purchasing process, we want to make sure that you have all the support that you need. So at this time, they opened up the 8-step process for me to order my Rivian. I was expecting it in April or to June. So here it is, December, 2 months after I had gotten a delivery window, that I'm available to start the process of my Rivian. Right, and I started that process. So to this point, here's when they invite you to the 8-step process, here it is, view your steps. All right, you open up this window, and there is an 8-step process that you have to complete. All right, so the first step is title registration. I decided to keep my current plates because I have military plates, and in the state of Georgia, where I live, I pay $1, actually $2, one from my wife's vehicle and $1 from my vehicle on renewing my plates every year. I'm not changing that. All right. And then my trade-in. Now, Rivian did offer me a trade-in. The trade-in I currently have an Audi A4 2017. Rivian did offer me $9,000, I believe it was $400. So I decided to shop around. I went to driveway.com. They offered me another $1,000. And I went to Carvana, and they offered me another $1,000. So I ended up trading my vehicle in. I mean, excuse me, not trading in, but selling it to Carvana. Made a little money, happy. All right, then my financing. Rivian does offer financing, but I am a member of Military Credit Union, USAA, and Navy Federal Credit Union. So I financed my last 3 cars with Navy Federal Credit Union. Love their rates, love the way they do business. Never had any problems. So I financed this vehicle through Navy Federal Credit Union. My insurance is through USAA, and step 4, I continued that. Called them, bang, bang, no problems. And then they ask you to upload all those documents into their portal, which is step 5, which after I got my check from USAA, got my insurance, proof of insurance from got my check from Navy Federal, got my proof of insurance through USAA, and then I uploaded it, it was approved, and then I had to sign my contracts. Sign my contracts, that was good. The payment, as soon as I uploaded a picture of the payment, it went. Now I'm waiting for step 8. And step 8 says, start the countdown. You can schedule your delivery soon. So I wanted to know how soon. When was this going to open? So once I got to my guide, I sent her an email talking about the process. And so this is what she sent back to me. She says your vehicle's in its final stages. Now, granted, this is 3 days after I had received the VIN, 8-step process, which the VIN was sent to me the same day I opened up my 8-step process. This is 3 days later. It only took me 2 days to do the whole 8-step process. It's in its final stages at the factory. It'll soon be delivered to the Atlanta Service Center, all right, where it'll undergo the final inspection. And the last paragraph pretty much says you should expect your Rivian in your driveway in a few weeks or sooner. Wow. That's a great thing. That's a wonderful thing. Once I had that 8-step process opened, it was a whirlwind. Yeah, I was thinking if the 8-step process was going to take a couple of days, I was basically done with it in a day and a half. I just had to go. The longest part of me was taking myself down to the bank and picking up the proof of financials. Other than that, it was very quick, very seamless. Makes you never want to go to a dealership again. Be honest. No stress involved. So after all that, it's been just short of a year. About a week and a half, 2 weeks short of a year since my journey began to where we are today. 1 day left in 2022. I should expect my Rivian just about a year later. Be honest, I know that's fairly quick. Some guys had been waiting 3 years, at least 2, I know. Some 18 months, but here we are. I won't complain. And come this Friday, Carvana comes to pick up my Audi, which I love my Audis. That's the second Audi I've owned, and I've enjoyed every second of each one. But I'm ready to start my electric adventure on Electric Avenue, and I plan on making several more videos with many more adventures through the Rivian Adventure Network, which they're putting in 2 or 3 in Georgia. I know 3 actually, that I think. The one's in Pooler, Georgia. One's going to be in the central part of the state, which is the Macon, Warner Robins area. And I believe one in the North Atlanta area. So, and I constantly make trips to Hilton Head, which is perfect for me. My parents live down, and my mom lives down, and my family live down in Florida. Go down there all the time. They're putting them in Florida. So we'll see how the process goes, and I'm looking forward to my electric adventure. So come and join me on the Electric Avenue, and we'll learn together. Thank you. Have a good evening.